Time wasters. Is it worth a buy? Or is it just a waste of time? Let's read the words of the developer. Time Wasters is a space shooter bullet heaven roguelite. Equip and upgrade weapons, destroy swarms of enemies, and collect time and space cubes to bend the timeline to your advantage. Guys, I went from tiny little pew 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 to destroyer of worlds in this game, and it's so damn good. It's so much fun. This is probably the best one since Vampire Survivors. It's the same type of game as Vampire Survivors, and we've had a ton of these clones. This is easily the best clone of Vampire Survivors. Now, it isn't quite the same as Vampire Survivors, although it would fit into the same genre. But this has a little bit more to it and a lot less. Let me explain. There's 5 captains that you can choose, and you can buff each captain. Now, the captains that you buff are more powerful than the ones you don't buff once you've unlocked them all, of course. You can pick up each captain in the game. So let's say you start with Aria. Let's say you start with her, and they're all anime, which is... But let's say you start with her. You might get a drop because you get, it's like cards, you know, you'll get a choice of things after you every level you get to choose a new ability, and the new ability, some of them will be the other pilots. And if you've buffed one of the other ones, you obviously want to pick them and use their weapon. Each pilot specializes in a type of weapon and damage and things like that. So you've got to choose your builds wisely. There's also other weapons that don't have any captains that specialize in them, that are just crazy mad weapons, which are always worth picking up. But as with all of these games, you have to specialize your build. You don't just pick every weapon or you'll dilute your deck and never get any of them powerful. And the object of the game is to get absolute power overwhelming, because that's what you want to do to beat the bosses, and the only way you can do that is to specialize in a specific build, and that's what makes these games a bit strategic and fun. Now, on top of all the usual stuff, this game has a number of planets. Now, each planet has an ability that's on a cooldown every time you fly over it. For example, one of them will give you an armor buff every time you fly over it, providing it's not on cooldown. Another one will generate space cubes, and it's the space cubes that you use to upgrade yourself. That's the roguelite element. So at the end of the day, when you die, and you will take all the space cubes you've collected in that level and buff yourself so that the next time you go in, you're just that little bit more powerful. You might have a little bit more damage, a bit more defense, and you might have unlocked other things as well. Other planets just have guns attached to them that just give you a bit of extra firepower. Others, there's the final planet that you unlocks, like the supernova, which crashed me PC. It actually crashed me PC. I just went in to record it, but it's crashed, so I'm not going to show you that one. I'll leave it for you to see that one. It's awesome. Well worth unlocking. Others give you money. Others give you other cubes that you can use to re-roll. So there's little bits of things on all of the planets, and your planets get attacked, and if you don't save them, they will be destroyed and you'll no longer get that buff. There's motherships come in every few levels to try and kick your ass. One of them succeeded over and over again until I finally got enough grinding done to beat its bottom. But guys, I beat the game in 8 hours. That's why it's not as deep as Vampire Survivors. I've got 90 hours in Vampire Survivors. I've got 8 hours in this. And I have unlocked pretty much everything in this. I haven't tried every possible combination, so there's more to the game than 8 hours. You could probably double that time and mess around with all the other stuff in there. But it's really, really good fun, albeit it is nowhere near as deep as Vampire Survivors. It doesn't have as many weapons as Vampire Survivors. It needs more. It needs more. Now, it is in early access, and it costs an absolute fortune, guys. This game is £2.24. You can't go wrong for that price. You can't go wrong for that price. So there you go, guys. A couple of quid, and you can blast your way through space and become absolutely overwhelmingly powerful. It's great fun. And certainly not a time waster. Get it? Time. Yeah, took us a while to think of that.